It's true. Okay, when do you want the cab? You say in 5 minutes time. It will be there. Right now. So it's a problem that, you know, in the West, still nowadays, the Muslim there is not very much welcome, especially by the lay people. We're talking about academics and talking about university professors and the academic life. It is not that bad. But when we talk about, you know, dealing with people, normal people in the streets and the shops, you don't feel welcome there. And we had several problems.
Tradition just in Europe or the West Coast? To Europe only. Because we have a historical background between the European people and them.
Well, you might be right. And you know, after September the 11th, we had such a very bad response from the local British people than our brothers and sisters who were in the States. They were really harshly, very rude to us. They even attacked the local mosque, which was like in a small town. It's not like in London or so. It's a small town, but they attacked it. They like pelted it with stones and they throw pigs' heads on it and they smashed the windows and they did really lots of damage to the mosque. And when I talked to my friends in America, they said that we really, you know, sometimes we see this, but not all the time. But in England, it was really very bad. So I'm talking here about people who are trying to be so nice. You know, you don't want to lose your friends in Europe or in America, even on a chat. So you try to avoid raising any point about religion. You know, so it makes your job as a Muslim preacher very difficult now. But this shouldn't be like this. And again, we can use our, you know, our wisdom, our intelligence and prudence. You know, we try to work on a different line. You know, just explain things about your real life as a Muslim. You know, when things come by incidents about you maybe celebrating the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ, doing such a thing like maybe fasting or Hajj or so, try to explain things indirectly to them without telling them, you know, that you are inviting them to Islam or explaining them to explaining Islam to them. So try to avoid to be so nice to them so you don't lose them. It is just your religion. You know, you can't really feel, you know, embarrassed if you say I'm a Muslim or so. It is your religion and you feel so proud of your religion because it has nothing to do with what is known about it in the West nowadays. On the opposite, it will be very useful and very informative to them that you tell them the right Islam. One of the very recurrent problems that I usually hear is about mastering the language. It's really a problem. You know, when you talk to non-Muslims, you don't feel that you have such confidence that you can communicate with them in that language. You know, French, English, German, Italian, whichever language you are using for communication. So this is again your own, you know, area of working. You need to really work on the improvement of your language. If you think you are interested more in, you know, propagating Islam to others in Italian, in English or in French, you need to really train yourself and, you know, get some sort of lessons or teachings from a friend or from a local institute or so that will help you express and expose your ideas in a better language. So it is your work, inshallah, to do. For those people who have like a close connection or engagement with non-Muslims living in Egypt, or who, for those of you who travel abroad or so, you may feel that the society there does not demonstrate that kind of sociability that we have in the East or in Egypt now. You might presume that, you know, it's a good idea to be in the company of your friend most of the time, or when you want. You know, you want to call him, you just pick up the phone and phone him. You want to visit him, you go and knock at his door or her door and so forth. This again brings us the problem of individualism. You know, people in the West, they like and adore being on their own. They only interact with you when there is a need to do so. They don't have this sort of sociable life that we have. So you need to appreciate it. So you need to know when to talk about it and how to talk about it. Do not presume that because you are so much enthusiastic in preaching Islam, do not presume that this person will have the same enthusiasm as you. Okay? When they ask you about one thing, do not go and explain to them 3, 4, 5 things. Only answer this particular question. Right? And if you want to give them some more clues, you say, probably you might be interested to know something about this or that. Perhaps we can discuss this later. If they have the interest and they have the time, I say, well, why not discussing it now? I do have the time, so let us do it. But if they are not prepared, they do have time, they do have other commitments or do have other meetings or so, they might not be in a position to sit and talk to you. So only be specific and as concise as possible, because this suits the mentality of the people there. And do not try to repeat yourself so many times. Once you said it, it's fine. They got it. Repetition will make it very boring to them. Okay? It's against our culture. We like more details and like to hear it again and again. But this is not the case with people in the West. They like to be very short and concise and direct to the point. Okay? Well, this is my own notes about particular ways that you can adopt in communicating with others and propagating Islam to them. I also would like to draw your attention to an important point, which is following the example of the Prophet ﷺ, which we'll have the benefits of through the reading of his biography, the seerah. We need to reflect upon the Prophet's experience in being the master of the da'is. Look at how he, what did he say and how did he run the dialogue or the discourse with others on the individual basis. When he used to talk to others. What did he say? How did he say it? What did he do when he received a negative response? And so forth. Right? When he used to address groups, inviting groups, how he said it, what were the particular dynamics and the context of the situation. And visiting people at homes, visiting the sick people, visiting the people in need, even asking about the woman who used to sweep the mosque and so forth. This is one of the examples. Meeting tribes and their chieftains, the bosses, the leaders of the tribes at the time of the Hajj, when the Prophet ﷺ invited them during the Bay'ah al-Aqaba, al-Ula and al-Thaniya, the first and the second Bay'ah. Traveling to far-off places. The Prophet ﷺ used to travel to the neighboring areas to inform people about the message of Islam. And one of the famous examples was the case with At-Taif, when he went to At-Taif and he received a negative response from them. Maybe if you have the time and you have the means, maybe you can arrange time to meet outside in a cafeteria or in a coffee shop or in a restaurant, and you have a meeting.